The forests of ancient Gaul whispered with stories older than Rome itself. For centuries, dozens of tribes, each with their own customs, leaders, and rivalries, lived across the vast lands that stretched from the Rhine to the Atlantic. Their world was one of rugged independence, warrior codes, and fierce loyalty. But in the year 58 BCE, their divided freedom was about to face a force unlike anything they had ever encountered. A force wearing red cloaks, carrying iron discipline and marching under the command of a man whose name would echo through the ages, Gaius Julius Caesar. At the edge of the Roman Republic, Caesar stood at a crossroads. Newly appointed governor of Gaul, he was ambitious, calculating, and hungry for military glory. To him, Gaul was not merely a frontier. It was an opportunity. And that opportunity arrived in the form of a migrating tribe, the Helvetii, attempting to move across Roman territory. Caesar claimed Rome must protect its people. But beneath this justification lay a deeper motive: conquest. The first clash came swiftly. Caesar blocked the Helvetii, forced them back, and pursued them across mountains and rivers. The battle at Bibracte became a brutal demonstration of Roman discipline. The Helvetii, though courageous, were overwhelmed. In the ashes of their defeat, Caesar sent a message to all of Gaul: Rome had arrived and it would not retreat. But the tribes of Gaul would not bow so easily. A charismatic leader named Ariovistus, king of the Germanic Suebi, threatened to dominate Gaulish lands. Caesar seized this moment, portraying himself as a protector of Gaul against Germanic expansion. The clash with Ariovistus was fierce and chaotic, but once again, Roman strategy prevailed. Ariovistus fled across the Rhine, and Caesar gained another victory to inscribe into the public conscience of Rome. Yet Gaul remained restless. The tribes were diverse, divided, and often hostile to each other. Caesar exploited every rivalry, every ancient dispute, turning Gauls against Gauls. The Romans advanced rapidly, storming fortresses, subduing resistant tribes, and establishing winter camps that signaled a long, permanent presence. The turning point, however, came in 52 BCE. In the heart of Gaul, a young nobleman rose, gathering the tribes under a single banner for the first time in generations. His name was Vercingetorix. Strong, intelligent, and fierce, he understood that defeating Rome required unity and a new strategy. Instead of meeting Rome in open battles, where legions excelled, he ordered scorched earth tactics: burn crops, abandon villages, deny Caesar supplies. It was a bold plan meant to starve the invaders. But even the most brilliant strategy bent under the weight of necessity. One tribe refused to destroy its city, Avaricum, a jewel of Gaul. Caesar seized the chance. He besieged the city for weeks in rain and mud, building towering ramps and protective structures under enemy fire. When the Romans finally breached the walls, Avaricum fell. Only a few hundred Gauls survived. Thousands perished. The message was unmistakable: resistance carried a heavy price. Still, Vercingetorix did not break. He regrouped his forces at a hilltop fortress called Gergovia, perched on steep heights nearly impossible to assault. This time, the Romans stumbled. Miscommunication, difficult terrain, and an inspired Gallic defense handed Caesar a rare defeat. For a moment, the balance shifted. Many Gallic tribes flooded into Vercingetorix's alliance, believing the Romans could finally be driven out. But Caesar was relentless. With winter approaching, he launched one of the most daring campaigns of his career, crossing rivers, marching through storms, and outmaneuvering the Gauls at every turn. Exhausted but determined, Vercingetorix retreated to a stronghold he believed could withstand anything: Alesia. What happened next became legend. At Alesia, Vercingetorix fortified himself atop a hill surrounded by wooden walls and trenches. Caesar responded with an engineering marvel that still astonishes historians. He built double fortifications, one facing inward to trap the Gauls, and one facing outward to hold off reinforcements. Over 20 kilometers of walls, towers, pits, and traps were constructed in a matter of weeks. The siege became a nightmare. Starvation crept through the Gallic defenders. Reinforcement armies swarmed from the countryside, crashing like waves against Caesar's outer walls. Night after night, the Romans fought on two fronts, the defenders within and the rescuers outside. In the crucible of Alesia, the fate of Gaul was decided. Despite their bravery, the Gallic armies could not break Rome's iron formations. Exhausted and surrounded, Vercingetorix surrendered. Legend says he rode out on horseback, circled Caesar, and threw his weapons at the Roman general's feet. With that single act, a nation's resistance fell silent. By 50 BCE, Gaul was under Roman control. Caesar returned to Rome a hero, his conquest celebrated as one of the greatest military achievements of the age. But the cost was immense. Countless lives, shattered tribes, cultures rewritten or erased. The Roman Gaul Wars did not merely redraw borders, they reshaped the identity of Europe. Cities rose where tribal towns once stood. Latin replaced ancient languages, and Caesar's victories set him on the path to ultimate power, changing Rome itself forever. The echoes of that decade still linger. In the ruins of hill forts, in the foundations of French cities, and in the memory of a young Gallic leader who rallied his people against an empire. This was not just a war. It was the clash of two worlds, one that vanished, and one that conquered.